Everyone, and welcome back to mountmoontcg. Well, it's that time again. I know Shroud of Fable just came out recently, and it seems a little weird that I'm doing another top 10 list very close to the last one, but Stellar Crown is just right around the corner, so we have to talk about the best cards from that set. The set is due to be released September 13th here in the United States. And when this video comes out, pre-releases will be happening, I guess this weekend, when the video comes out. The video will come out in the future, further ahead when I'm recording this. So yeah, this weekend, pre-releases will be happening. If you don't know where to go to for a pre-release, go check out Pokemon.com to search for a game store in your area, and hopefully they're running pre-releases. Now, just like the last video, the translations for these cards are coming from justinbasil.com. Go check out their website. It's a pretty nice website, in my opinion, where you can find out what's coming up next and potential leaks for sets coming out in the future. So anyhow, we're going to start this list off at number 10. We got Galvantula EX. Galvantula EX is a lightning type Pokemon or thunder type Pokemon, whatever you want to call it. Stage 1 evolves from Joltik, obviously. It's got the Charged Web attack. For 2 energy, it does 110 damage. And then, if your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX or Pokemon V, the attack does 110 more damage, so 220 more damage. So if there's an EX or a Pokemon V that is 220 HP or less, you are knocking them out. That's pretty good. But there's cards, like Squawkabilly EX that is 160 HP. You're one-shotting that. There's a couple of other Pokemon V EXs that are 220 HP or less, so this should have no problem one-shotting those Pokemon. 220 for 2 energies, not too bad. But Galvantula's in here for the Fulgurite attack for a Grass, Lightning, and Fighting. Kind of a weird attack cost. But it does 180 damage, and then you have to discard all energy from this Pokemon. And during your opponent's next turn, they can't play any item cards from their hand. Now, a lot of us have been around long enough to remember cards like Seismitoad EX and Vikavolt V. Now, both of those had attacks that stopped your opponent from playing item cards, and both of them have seen success when they were released. So I think Galvantula should see, some amount of play. Maybe not right away, but I'm thinking someone's going to try and make Galvantula work. Hopefully. I mean, we've seen it in the past where cards that have your opponent can't play item cards have seen success in the past, so I don't see any other reason why Galvantula won't see any play going forward. Yeah, the attack cost might be a little bit awkward, but stick around in the list. There are a couple of cards down further in this list that can help cards like Galvantula EX be successful. And also I want to take a quick second here to talk about not Charjabug. That's the wrong way. I want to talk about this Joltik here very quickly. Joltik, you could maybe say, is a runner-up. Joltik evolves into Galvantula. Right, I know my Pokemon. Yep, see, look, Joltik's right there. I know my Pokemon. Yeah, it's not like me and Chris did name 1,000 Pokemon challenge or anything. Go check out that video. So you think I know my Pokemon. So anyhow, Joltik here. Keep this in mind for some decks because it's got a very good attack here, battery charge. Search your deck for up to 2 basic grass energy and up to 2 basic lightning energy and attach them to your Pokemon any way you like, then shuffle your deck. Now this attack can be very good in decks like Raging Bolt EX that likes to get as much energy into play as fast as possible, because it accelerates 4 energy from the deck. And of course, Raging Bolt does play the grass and the electric because they play the Ogerpon and stuff like that. So do keep this attack in mind. It can be very good for certain decks going forward. So yeah, that kind of does help the Galvantula spot a little bit. So Galvantula here at number 10. Coming up next at number 9, we have Hydrapple EX. Hydrapple EX is a Stage 2 Grass-type Pokemon with 330 HP. It has a very fun ability called Ripening Charge. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic Grass Energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you attached energy to a Pokemon in this way, heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. So this is a little bit of energy acceleration again. We have seen this before with cards like Teal Mask Ogerpon, that you can use the ability to attach a card to itself, draw a card. A Hydrapple can go very well with Teal Mask Ogerpon to get a lot of energy into play as fast as possible. That actually works out pretty well too, because you heal when you attach a basic energy to that Pokemon. You heal for 30 from that Pokemon. Could be relevant in some matches. But the attaching the grass energy is really important for the Hydrapple attack called Syrup Storm. For 2 colors energy, it does 30 plus and then 30 more damage for each grass energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So you can see how this kind of works. If you have like 2 Hydrapple in play and 4 Teal Mask Ogerpon in play, you can accelerate 6 energy and then the attachment for turn, that's 7 energy that you can be attaching to your Pokemon, and 70 and then 6 so 7 energy that you can attach per turn times 30, that's what, 210 damage. So this can lead up to some big amount of damage if you get enough energy into play. And of course, if you want to hit 300, that's 10 energy into play. It is doable. We still have cards like Gardenia's Gardenia's. The Gardenia card that accelerates 2 energy to draw a couple of cards. Hasn't seen a lot of play, but maybe you'll see play in this Hydrapple EX deck. I know it does sound like a lot of energy, but I mean, if you're going to be playing, if you want to play like Teal Mask Ogerpon and stuff like that, Hydrapple could be pretty good for that as well. Also, I mean, like I said, if you have 2 Hydrapple into play, you can Ripening Charge onto the same Pokemon that's got maybe like 90 damage on it, heal 60 from it, and then maybe it's not being, maybe, you know, your Pokemon, instead of being 2-shotted, is now being 3-shotted. Something like that. So healing is pretty good. It'll be very interesting to see how Hydrapple decks are going to look going forward. And also, I kind of like how Hydrapple kind of looks like, you know, you ever see that big 3-headed dragon from Hercules? That's what this reminds me of. You got the 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 5 heads right there. Looks pretty menacing. Pretty cool art. Just side note. So there we go. We got Hydrapple here at number 9. And then next up at number 8, we got Brayer? I think it's Brayer. Brayer is a supporter card that states that you can only play this card if your opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining. Until the end of this turn, if your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from one of your Terra Pokemon's attacks, take 1 more prize card. Now, when I first saw this card, I immediately thought of Charizard, Pidgeot, that deck. Because you see, Charizard EX is a Terra Pokemon. And if your opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining, and you got the Pidgeot EX, you can basically just search for this Brayer, and then you can take a 3 prize turn by knocking out a big, knocking out a big EX or like a V-Star or something like that. And that can help you win the game. If you have 3 prize cards remaining and you knock out a big Pokemon EX or a big Pokemon V, you play this Brayer, and you can take those 3 prizes right there. So, seems pretty good. I don't know if this is going to get a lot more play outside of Charizard, Pidgeot, but that was the deck that I thought of first when I saw this card. But there will be a lot of Terra Pokemon going forward that could make use of this card. I don't know how effectively those decks will use this card, but if this is going to help make Charizard Pidgeot decks a little bit better, we might need to watch out for that. So if that alone puts it here at number 8, it could be better with more of these Terra-type Pokemon coming out later. But for now, number 8 seems to be a fine place for Brayer. Coming up next at number 7, we have Fan Rotom. Now, I debated if I wanted to put Fan Rotom in at the spot or if I wanted to put the Bouffalant, but I think Fan Rotom is just a little bit better. Fan Rotom has the Fan Call ability, which states that once during your first turn, You may search your deck for 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Shuffle your deck. You can't use more than one Fan Call ability during your turn. So it's another one of these abilities that can only use during your first turn of the game. Now, we will get into a little bit later as to why Fan Call is really, really good. I don't want to spoil anything if you don't know what's coming out in the set. But let's just say you want to get like 2 B-Barrels and a Pidgey into play. This is a good way to get Pokemon like that into play, to get a lot of these support Pokemon into play. Yeah, if you're playing a Pidgeot EX deck, you can get your 2 Pidgeots, you can get your Bidoof into play, because we're looking for 3 Pokemon with 100 HP or less. Totally up to you. Put down your 2 Pidgeys and your Bidoof, and you're good to go. So you don't need the Buddy Poffin. You don't need to grab all these nest balls. Nope, you just need 1 nest ball, get a Fan Rotom, and then you get a bunch more Pokemon onto your bench. If you wanted to as well, there is, like I mentioned earlier, there is the Bouffalant in this set. It has 100 HP as well. It's got the Curly Wall ability. If you have any other Bouffalant in play, your basic colorless Pokemon takes 60 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon after applying weakness or resistance. The effect of Curly Wall doesn't stack. So you can only use 1 ability, 1 Curly Wall. You can't use 2, that'd be broken. You take 120 less from attacks. Man, that'd be really good if it's stacked. But yeah, anyhow, this can protect your colorless Pokemon from attacks. Potentially, instead of getting 1-shotted or 2-shotted, might be 3-shotted. Yeah, Bouffalant can help with stuff like that, but Fan Rotom seems like a very good card. We will talk about a little bit later why Fan Rotom is going to be a lot better than the reasons I mentioned earlier, because spoiler alert. So yeah. We got Fan Rotom here at number, was that 7? 10, 9, 8, 7. Yep, number 7. I know what I'm doing. And next up at number 6, we have Sparkling Crystal. It is one of the ace specs from this set. And Sparkling Crystal states that attacks used by the Terra Pokemon this card is attached to cost 1 energy less of any type. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of different Terra type Pokemon. You have the Charizard, you have the Dragapult, you have Teal Mask Ogerpon, etc., etc. So it'll be very interesting to see if those decks are going to start playing Sparkling Crystal. Now, like decks like Dragapult EX, they need 2 energy for that second attack to do 206 damage counters onto the bench. So if you attach the Sparkling Crystal to it, you can basically negate the fire or the psychic energy, whichever one you want to get rid of, and you essentially use that pretty big attack for 1 energy. Now, I know a lot of Dragapult decks have used Neo Upper Energy to basically use that to take the cost of the Dragapult, to use that for 1 energy attachment, and they're doing the damage. So it'll be very interesting to see if Sparkling Crystal is going to be played in that deck over Neo Upper Energy. But this can help out, all these Terra-type decks. I don't think Charizard's going to really need this because they accelerate the energy. I don't know if Teal Mask Ogerpon is going to play this, and there's a bunch of other Terra Pokemon that I haven't even mentioned. The Galvantula, for example, could benefit from this because a lot of these Terra Pokemon's attacks are a little bit awkward, as we will see if you look into the set a little bit better. I know there's a lot of cards, a lot of Terra Pokemon that I'm not mentioning that are in this set that are not on this list, so go check those out. So yeah, this can help some of those Pokemon with weird energy costs. So Sparkling Crystal seems like it'll be really good moving forward. So Sparkling Crystal here at number 6. Next up at number 5, we have Crispin. It is another supporter card. I think this is probably my favorite supporter card in the set. It states that you search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards of different types, reveal them to your opponent, and put 1 of them into your hand and attach the other energy to one of your Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. So remember how we looked at the Galvantula and it had 3 different energy for that big attack? This is the way we can do it. So if we look at the Galvantula really quickly, we see we need a grass, a lightning, and a fighting energy. So this is a way that we can potentially get those 3 energies. So say your first turn you attached a grass energy to your Joltik, and then your next turn you evolved a Galvantula and you play Crispin. So Crispin, you can search for the lightning and the fighting, and you can attach the lightning and then with the Crispin card, and then you can attach the fighting as your energy per turn, and you set up your Galvantula. And then you can do 180 and stop your opponent from playing item cards, which can be very annoying for them. Yeah, for that sure fact that this can help a lot of these like weird energy decks, like I've been saying, a lot of these Terra Pokemon types, like what their energy cost is a little bit weird. I know there's like a Lapras EX in this set where the energy is a little bit weird as well. There's a couple of other different Terra Pokemon. The energy is like 4 different types of energy to do a certain attack. Crispin is a fun way to get, these different energies in your hand attached to your Pokemon, so on and so forth. You can also combo this with Earthen Vessel to find that, the 1 energy card to attach for the first turn, and then your Crispin to find the under 2 energy, and then attach them to the Terra Pokemon as well. And we will get into Crispin, I think, a little bit later, but yeah, this seems like a pretty good card. So Crispin's here at number 5. Next up at number 4, we have Terapagos EX. All right, so this is like the mascot of the set, so it must be pretty darn decent. So it is a basic with 230 HP, and it's got this big attack right here called Unified Beatdown. It does 30 times the amount of each of your benched Pokemon. So 30 for each of your bench Pokemon. It can do 150 damage if you have a full bench of 5. But the big important thing to remember is if you go second, you can't use the attack during your first turn. So that is a big downgrade to that attack. But we will talk about why it's got that wording a little bit later. Spoiler alert. But yeah, if you have a full bench of 5, it does 150 damage for essentially 2 colorless energy. If you put on a double turbo, 20 less, stuff like that. But it's got the Crone Opal attack. Remember how I mentioned there's a lot of these Terra Pokemon that's got these weird costs. So for grass, water, and electric, it does 180. And during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic non-colorless Pokemon. So if you're going against, say, the Raging Bolt deck that basically only plays, basic Pokemon, yeah, those Pokemon can't hurt Terapagos. So that can be annoying for some decks. And like I mentioned earlier, it's got the 3 weird energy. You got your Crispin. You can find your 2 energy, attach 1 with the Crispin, 1 per turn, and then maybe attach 1 last turn to Terapagos. So you can do this attack if need be. I will get on to a little bit later why Terapagos is really, really good. Do trust me on this one. Terapagos is at number 4. Just trust me. Get to the end of the video and you'll see why Terapagos is really, really good. Next up at number 3, we have Noctowl, and I am really excited for Noctowl. Not only do I like Noctowl, I like what it does. So, do any of you remember Shady Dealings Inteleon? If you do, you'll like this card. Because it's got the ability Jewel Hunt. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, if you have any Terra Pokemon in play, you may search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Shuffle your deck. So, you can search for any 2 trainers that you want as long as you got a Terra Pokemon in play. So, a lot of decks that I have been seeing coming from Japan are pairing this Noctowl with this Terapagos because this is a Terra Pokemon. And it's a colorless Pokemon. And this is also seeing play with the Fan Rotom. because this searches for the 3 Pokemon with 100 HP or less. So you can get the Hoot Hoots with the Fan Rotom, and then hopefully the next turn you can evolve into your Noctowl and get your supporter card that you really need, or get your item card that you really need, a tool card you really need, any 2 trainer cards that you really need. So yeah, this, I see no reason as to why Jewel Hunt can't be really, really good. You could also put this in like Charizard decks if you really want, because again, Charizard, Terra Pokemon. So maybe no more Pidgeots, maybe we'll see Noctowl. I don't know. It seems very interesting that Noctowl can search for any 2 trainer cards, and honestly, 9 times out of 10 when I'm playing Charizard, I'm usually grabbing a trainer card. I mean, I'm not great with Charizard, but it just seems like I'm grabbing any trainer card I need with the Pidgeot EX's ability. So maybe we might see a shift in Noctowl, seeing a lot more play with these like Charizard decks. We'll wait and see. But when this set is, with this set being legal in Japan, we're seeing a lot of these Terra decks moving forward. They seem to be kind of taking over the format a little bit, and we still got 2 cards to talk about. Again, just trust me. The top 2 cards are really good. So let's move on. But yes, Noctowl at number 3, really, really good. So next up at number 2, we have Glass Trumpet. It is an item card that states that you can only play this card if you have a Terra Pokemon in play. Choose 2 of your benched colorless Pokemon and attach a basic energy from your discard pile to each of them. Now, I'm fully expecting Terapagos EX to be a really, really popular deck going forward. So this card can really help those decks out a lot. So this is a neat way to get your Crown Opal attack up and running. You can use it for a unified beatdown if you really want to get, a bunch of energy into play very, very quickly. But yeah, Glass Trumpet, a great way to accelerate energy from the discard pile. Yeah, more of this energy acceleration, and then this can match up with Crispin as well to get a lot more energy into play. It seems pretty neat. It might be a little high because it only works for these colorless type Pokemon. But like I said, with Terapagos being, kind of the mascot of this set, and there's a lot of pretty decent colorless Pokemon going forward. This might be a little high for it. That's fine. Maybe Noctowl should be at number 2, Glass Trumpet at number 3. Maybe. I don't know. It's my list. But we're going to move on. I digress. Because coming up at number 1, I told you all to be patient. Be patient with me. Because Terapagos is better than it seems. And it's because of the best card of the set, Area 0 Under Depths. It's a stadium card that states if a player has a Terra Pokemon in play, that player can have 8 Pokemon on their bench. And when this card leaves play or a player no longer has any Terra Pokemon in play, they discard bench Pokemon until they have 5 Pokemon on the bench. If both players discard, the owner of this card discards first. Do any of you remember Skyfield? Yeah, this is very similar. So you can have 8 Pokemon on your bench if you have a Terra Pokemon. What is Terapagos? A Terra Pokemon does more damage when you have more Pokemon on your bench. Yeah. This, you can maybe now see why you can't use this attack on your first turn. Because it would be a little bit broken to get those 2 energy on Terapagos as fast as possible, and then get 8 Pokemon down, and you're doing 30 damage times 8. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of damage. That's 240 if my math is correct. Yeah. But also, Terapagos is not really the... How should I say this? It's good with Area 0 Underdepths, but there is a card that this is better for. And that's Palkia V-Star. because Palkia V-Star does more damage for how many bench Pokemon are on both sides of the field. I think it's 60 and 30 more for each Pokemon in play or something like that. Yeah. If both players have a full bench, Palkia's knocking everything out. Because that's 16 Pokemon times 30, that's a whole lot of damage. So this is going to see play in these Palkia decks. Palkia is going to be really good moving forward. And this card, Area Zero Underdepths, is going to help Palkia out a lot. It also helps if you play Raikou V, because Raikou V does that as well. Does more damage for bench Pokemon and things like that. So if you're going against those decks and you play Terra Pokemon and Area Zero Underdepths, do be cautious that they're counting on you to bench a lot of Pokemon because they want to do more damage to you. So don't fall for the trap of benching so many Pokemon. And like I said, this also pairs up really nicely, not only with the Terapagos, it pairs up with the Noctowl, so you can evolve your Noctowls, get your trainer cards, and then if the stadium goes away, they're just going to pitch the Noctowls, put them into the discard pile, or any other Pokemon like Squawkabilly that they don't need anymore, so that they only have their Terapagos in play, their Palkia V-Stars in play, whatever kind of deck they're playing, etc., etc. Yeah, discard your Fan Rotoms. There you go. Discard your Fan Rotoms that you don't need anymore because the stadium is gone. Because there's a lot of colors Pokemon in the set that are kind of helping to achieve the same goal. Get a lot of Pokemon on your bench, and then you can hit a lot of damage with the Terapagos or your Palkia V-Star, whatever way you want to go. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the 10 cards from Stellar Crown that I think are the best. Now, if you want to put different cards somewhere on your list, that's fine, but I do think that Area Zero Underdepths is the best card of the set. Maybe Noctowl. Noctowl's pretty good too. But hey, a lot of these Pokemon have to deal with Terra Pokemon, and it seems like we're not going to be able to escape Terra Pokemon anytime soon. So yeah, that is the list, everybody. Let me know what you think. What are your top 10 cards from this set? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe, and be sure to join us for some more awesome perks right here on Mount Moon TCG.